What's up? What's up? And what's up? What's going on, everybody? This is another episode of the Will Sports Show. How's everybody doing today? Coming to you from the lovely studios of the Will Sports Show. So, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying safe. And of course, as usual, please follow my YouTube page, Wilton George. Follow me on Instagram, Will underscore love sports. If you want to tune in, and also please chime in whenever you guys want or you can. I'm open ears and I am all for you, anything about sports. So what do you think I'm going to talk about? I'm going to start out with today. Let's take a wild guess. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks, what a week it was for this Knick organization. Start out with Tuesday with our beloved Julius Randle finally made it official finally that he was going to the All-Star game. Well deserved. Glad he got in. We knew he wasn't going to get in as a starter. Glad he got in as a reserve and not as a replace. Didn't replace anybody. He deserved to be an All-Star. Just happy for him. And again, I mean, I gotta eat my words, and I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans will as well, because first of all, we did not want this guy here after year one. Let's just keep it real. And also, we did not expect him to play like this. But when you got a coach like Tibbs, and we all know Randall had the talent, you know, it's just a matter of putting it together. So for him to be an all-star just shows where is this franchise going. Hopefully no more than going up instead of, going back down. So that definitely is, it was nice. Obviously our first All-Star we've had since Porzingis technically. I mean, even though Porzingis got selected, he didn't play because he got hurt. So, this will be the first Nick to play in an All-Star game technically since Melo. And it's just great. He's been everything and then some for us. So yeah, that happened Tuesday. And then, the fans are back. The best fans in the world. 2,000 strong. And, it was just great to hear, real fans in the arena instead of, pump in noise or fake crowd. And it was just unbelievable. Even though we lost, that's what happens when you have a Steph Curry on the other end, making shots like crazy. And, Golden State still has that DNA. So that was, a tough loss. It would have been nice the first game, fans coming back to win, but, we didn't come out with the victory. So, and that's all good and well. But then we came back and, we did what we had to do and beat the Kings. Kings were struggling, and, we smacked them around. And that's what this team is starting to do now. They're starting to beat the teams that they are supposed to beat. And, I'm scared to say supposed to with this team, because this team is not there yet as far as like being a contender, for a championship, a conference championship, or championship. But listen, when you're trying to improve and you're trying to, take the right steps, when you're a 500 team trying to push for the playoffs, you got to beat the teams like the Kings. And they blew them out. And, they did what they had to do. And then, next game against the Pacers, it wasn't looking good early. It was like, okay, here we go again with this back and forth with this team. I think they was down as much as 16. And then they fought back. This team is a bunch of fighters, man. And it reflects off their coach. There's nothing else to say it. This guy Tom Thibodeau, and again, I'm not saying Tom Thibodeau's Pat Riley, but when we got Pat Riley, he reflected his attitude and his coaching style towards that team in the 90s. And look how that turned out. You know, they needed a turnaround, and look what happened. Tom Thibodeau has that same type of mentality. He's preaching defense. This team is the best defensive team in the league. And we a bunch of fighters and scrappers. And that's what New Yorkers love. Now, at the end of the day, we all know that this team is not going to go to the finals. We know we're not going to even make it to the conference finals. But for what this franchise has done so far, it's amazing. It's amazing. And, you know, we came back, beat the Pacers, you know, and then there's the video came out where, you know, the fans around, you know, 33rd and 7th, going around 34th Street, you know, was just hype. And this is, can you imagine if it was 19,000 strong and with this team playing the way it is? When it was 19,000 strong and this team was horrible, it was still loud when they did well. I mean, that's the only bad thing about this whole turnaround is that there's the Garden is not filled up to capacity. But it's good to see some fans able to be in there and watch this. And it's just amazing, man. Just the dudes was giving each other high fives and saying, "Let's go, New York." Can you imagine if this team gets to where, forget about a championship, if we get to that level where we're a contender, this is nothing like it. It's nothing like it at all. And I'm just loving the fact that this team is playing the way how they are supposed to play against, especially against bad teams, but they're winning. You got guys like, you know, Randall. You got Barrett, who is consistently scoring 20 points now. You got Norris Noel, who's filling in for Mitchell Robinson. We haven't missed a beat. We got Rose that's coming in and blended well with this team. Look at Quickly. Quickly, he might be first team, you know, all rookie. And he got drafted lower in the first round. You know, Obi Toppin is still a work in progress. You know, he's gonna be in the dunk contest battle, by the way. You know, got him, he's gonna hopefully he should be able to improve his game. You got Burks, who drops at least 10, 12 points, you know, once in a while. You know, it's just great. You know, Reggie Bullock, you know, even though he doesn't finish the game like that, you know, beginning of the game, he drops a couple of threes. That's another guy we didn't really care too much about when we got him last year. You know, he does his thing here and there. You know, it's just, this team is just blended in. This team loves each other. You could just tell that they care for one another. And it's just amazing to see, you know, what happens when you get a competent front office from the top that hires the right guy and he coaches, you know, to his ability with this team. And nobody did not expect us to be 18 and 17. Granted, we in fourth place in the East and we 18 and 17. Yes, the East is not great, but how many times the East hasn't been great, and we've still been in the bottom of the standings. So even if we was 18 and 17, and you know we was in 9th, 10th place, if the East was, you know, a little bit better, it still would have been great because we're competing. But it is what it is. The East is not great, so we're taking advantage of it. And, you know, it's just amazing what this team has done over a span of a year. And mind you, we basically got the same players last year. Yeah, we added Derrick Rose. Yeah, Burks wasn't here last year. Yeah, Noel wasn't here last year. But these are not star players that we acquired and, you know, all of a sudden we're good. No, these are role players that is doing what they got to do, knowing their role, and playing, you know, to their ability. And when you have a coach like Tibbs with a great coaching staff, look what happens. This franchise should have hired Tom Thibodeau like 4 or 5 years ago. But like they say, better late than never. But it's just amazing. And then, here we are, yesterday, and you like, all right, it's a back to back. They came off a come from behind win at home. This is gonna be a typical Nick loss, against a horrible team on the road. They dominated them. They dominated them. When the last time you seen a Nick team that come, whether they were decent or bad, and I mean over the past, couple years when we've been bad, they'll have a good win and then come back and be like, all right, yeah, they should beat that team, and then they didn't. They actually either get blown out or whatever. No, they did the opposite. They did what good teams are supposed to do: stomp the bad team on their throat and you dominate them. Now, the only beef I had with Tibbs yesterday is, I don't know why he's still playing Randall and Barrett like 5 minutes in to the fourth quarter and the game was over. I don't know why he played them throughout the whole fourth quarter. No, I think what he did was Barrett didn't start the fourth. He played Randall throughout the whole fourth quarter. Barrett didn't start the fourth, and Barrett came back. Why are you playing your stars and the game is over? Give Toppin, give Knox, give Rivers some burn. The game is over. It's a back-to-back. And that's one thing Tibbs is known for, which is kind of scary. I love Tibbs to death, and he's done an excellent job. But it's one thing he's known for is to tire his players out. In a situation like that, just take them out. You don't. What is there else to prove? Like, take them out. It's a back-to-back. Let them get some rest. Because God forbid somebody got hurt, it would have been a whole big thing. But, granted, he didn't. We got the win. We dominated. And honestly, that yesterday, even though we're playing against the Pistons, we're not playing against Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, or Grant Hill, or even, Chauncey Billups and Rasheed Wallace. But, that is one of the most impressive wins that we've had because it was a back-to-back and we blew them out. Shows that, okay, a team against the Pacers who is good and is, might go to the playoffs, and we came back against them, that wasn't a fluke. We showing that, we a good team. And it's just amazing, what this team has done. 18-17. This is the first time we've been over 500 this late in the season since the last time we made the playoffs in the 2012-2013 season. It's sad, but that's reality. But if this team starts winning, we're going to start seeing stats like that. Like, February was the first winning month we've had since 2017. That's sad. That's sad too. But again, when you've been horrible like how we've been, and you start winning, you want to see these stats. So let's start seeing these stats. Let's start winning these games, and let's start hoping that these stats will come out more and more, because it's been a long time since this team has been relevant. You look at the back of the newspapers. It's when, like I said before, like I said on my last show, when the Knicks, forget about when they're a powerhouse, when this team is halfway decent, they will take over this city. It's just how it is, man. And it's been a long time since this team has made the playoffs. It's going to be 8 years. Hopefully, we can end the drought this year. And it's just, I just hope to God that, we make it. And the Garden, I don't know what's going to happen come May or June. As far as, more fans coming about, I just hope to God that more fans could come playoff time. Because if we start getting 4,000 fans, 6,000 fans, 8,000 fans, especially come playoff time, it's going to be just amazing. It's nothing like hearing the Garden roar in a spring, May game. That means it's playoff time. We haven't had that since 2013. And I think if we make the playoffs, no matter how many fans it's going to be, even if it's not going to be filled up to the brim in the Garden, I think it's going to be louder than 2012-13 because it's been so long. Because you got to understand, when we made the playoffs in 2013, remember, we made the playoffs 2 years prior to that. the 2 years prior to that too. So it's just great that this team is watchable. They're fun to watch. They're the underdog type team. Obviously, even though New York, the Knicks, are still bigger than the Nets, we all know that the Nets are going to be favored to do what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to go to the finals and win it. When you got three guys like that, you are supposed to, dominate and be the favorite. But I can't wait for the second half of the season when we play them twice. And the two games are going to be at Brooklyn. But yeah, right now the Barclays Center is only holding 300 fans. If that continues, I'm will be 100% sure more than half of those fans are going to be Knicks fans, and it's just going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. I believe one of the games is going to be on ESPN, which it should be, and that's another thing. The more and more the Knicks win, you think ESPN and TNT is not going to be picking up these games because they know the ratings when the Knicks are great. The NBA is better, and the ratings are higher and higher. I already seen, the schedule for the second half of the season, and it is a couple of ESPN games already. That probably wouldn't have been if the Knicks were horrible. So it's just fun. It's just exciting, man. I'm just happy that this team, for once, is playing, relevant basketball, and it's just great. It's just great. It's just great. When I first started doing this in September, I was like, okay, when basketball season comes, I'm probably gonna be on here getting pissed off because this team always losing. But no, they're actually are playing great, and I'm coming on here happy and talking about this team. So it's a great week. I can't wait to see Randall represent us in the All-Star game. Can't wait to see Obi Toppin represent us in the dunk contest. It's just gonna be great. It's gonna be great. As far as the rest of the NBA, like I mentioned, the Nets, without Durant, they still doing their thing. Kyrie didn't play that last game, and they got blown out. So, but they play the Spurs tonight. That should be a good game, and the Knicks play the Spurs tomorrow. So that's gonna be a good test for the Knicks. And the Nets, they play the Spurs tonight. Kyrie should be back tonight. So, the Nets are impressive too. I hate to say it, but without Durant, they're still winning. And I believe that they're gonna rest Durant until the All-Star game. So, so after the All-Star game, so that's gonna be when he comes back. They're gonna be back full force. As far as the other Eastern Conference, you got these teams that were expected to do well. They're starting to come back. Like Miami, they starting to play better. Toronto starting to play better. Boston, they're starting to play better. Philly is still, on top of the East. So, you got these teams that are expected to do well from the get-go are starting to play a little bit better. As far as the West, the Lakers, they came out, they dominated Golden State. They're not going to win anything without Anthony Davis. We all know that. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. As great as LeBron is, they may not even come out the East unless they have Anthony Davis, nonetheless win the championship. So, I hope Anthony Davis gets well, because I want to see when, the Lakers play against these great teams. I want to see them in full force. But LeBron is LeBron, and he's gonna will that team to win some games. But come playoff time, they need Anthony Davis, and it's not a guarantee that he's gonna be 100% come playoff time when he does come back. So that's gonna be something to watch. Utah just continues to dominate. It's just amazing. This team is taking the next step. But what are they gonna do come playoff time? That's gonna be the thing. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and those boys. What are they gonna do come playoff time? Are they gonna beat the Lakers? Are they gonna beat the Clippers? Are they gonna beat teams like the Nuggets? So I think, I'm not comparing this team to them Jazz teams in the mid '90s when they, went to the finals, but those teams with Stockton and Malone always went to the playoffs, but never went over the hump, never got to the finals. So this group has not even, I think, been to the conference finals. So that's the next step they got to do. They got to start winning playoff games, and most likely go to the conference finals and see what happens. But they got a shot, with Anthony Davis, like I said, not being 100%, they have a shot, So still got the Clippers, still got the Nuggets, Portland, Dame Dollar is just unbelievable. And, you know, it's no, I mean, everybody expecting Nets, Lakers, but we'll see. It could be Nets, Jazz in the finals. It could be Jazz, Philly in the finals. We don't know, but it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen, especially the second half of the year. So, we're going to stay tuned and we're going to see who's going to come second half, who's going to really dominate and who's going to start, being in that playoff positioning and all that other stuff. So, but, that's all I got for you guys today. I guess I'm just excited about this Knicks team. Hopefully the next time I come on here, they'll continue to play well. And, let's see what happens, man. You guys have a good day. Stay safe. Holla.